Hello student. In this video, we're going to explore an important and fascinating topic, waste and its management. Waste is something we see around us every day, but do you know the different types of waste and why it's so important to manage it properly? By the end of this lesson, you'll understand how waste affects our planet and what we can do to keep our environment clean and healthy. Let's get started. Waste comes in different forms, and it can be classified as solid, liquid, or gas. Depending on the form of waste, we have to manage it differently to make sure it doesn't harm our environment. Let's start by understanding the different types of waste, beginning with gaseous waste. Gaseous waste includes the harmful gases that are released into the air. You may have seen smoke coming out of factories or cars. That's where gases like sulfur dioxide and carbon monoxide come from. These gases are not only harmful to the air we breathe, but they can also cause damage to our environment. So, it's really important to control and reduce this kind of waste. Next up is liquid waste. Liquid waste includes anything that flows, like sewage or chemicals that get washed away by rain. If we're not careful, this waste can end up in our rivers, lakes, and oceans, polluting the water and making it unsafe for fish, animals, and even us. Managing liquid waste properly ensures that our water sources stay clean and healthy. And finally, we have solid waste. This is probably the kind of waste you're most familiar with. It includes the everyday items we throw away, like food scraps, plastic bags, and glass bottles. When we don't manage solid waste correctly, it piles up in landfills, which can cause pollution and take up valuable space. That's why recycling and reducing our waste is so important. Now, let's dig a little deeper into solid waste, which can be split into two categories based on how it breaks down. The first type is biodegradable waste. This includes things like food scraps, paper, and other natural materials that can decompose and return to the earth. When we compost biodegradable waste, it breaks down and becomes nutrient-rich soil that helps plants grow. The second type is non-biodegradable waste. These are things like plastics and metals that don't break down easily. Instead, they stick around for a long time and need special care when we throw them away. Recycling is a key way to manage non-biodegradable waste so that it can be turned into something new instead of sitting in a landfill forever. But where does all this waste come from? Domestic waste is the kind of waste we produce in our homes. Think of food packaging, old toys, and leftover food. Industrial waste comes from factories, and it can include anything from chemicals to scrap metal. Agricultural waste is produced on farms and includes things like leftover crops and animal waste. And then there's commercial waste, which is generated by businesses. This could be anything from the packaging used in stores to the food waste from restaurants. Now that we know where waste comes from and how it can harm our environment, let's talk about how we can manage and dispose of it properly. One of the best ways to manage waste is by following the 4 R's of waste management. These are reduce, reuse, recycle, and recover. When we reduce, we try to use less in the first place, like avoiding single-use plastics. When we reuse, we find new ways to use items instead of just throwing them away, like using an old jar to store something new. Recycling is when we separate materials like paper, plastic, and glass so they can be processed and turned into new products. And recovering means reclaiming valuable resources from waste, like turning organic waste into compost that helps plants grow. Speaking of composting, that's another great way to manage waste. When we compost food scraps and other biodegradable materials, we create rich soil that helps plants grow. Worms can also be used to break down food waste in a process called vermicomposting. So, as you can see, waste management is incredibly important for keeping our planet clean and healthy. By understanding the different types of waste and how to manage them, we can all do our part to protect the environment. Now, I have a question for you. What are the two main types of solid waste? Think about it, and share your answer in the comments. The complete curriculum for Class 6 is available on our channel. Check out all the links provided in the description below. Please make sure to like, share, and comment for more such videos.